And welcome back to part 9 of What If Master Roshi Adopted Son Goku. Now, someone actually did point out something that I did actually legitimately forget to include in the last part. Where it's actually several people did, where Raditz was. And honestly, I completely had overlooked the fact that, Raditz was still around. Like, oh yeah, I forgot Raditz. Now, I don't think that changes anything drastic about the way the last part goes. But just to do a 1 minute kind of remodel structure of it, Raditz is around. He does actually have super. Actually, honestly, Raditz would be around and possibly have access to Super Saiyan 4 as well, thanks to training with Goku. Just for training years and years with Goku at that point. Because they were talking now near a decade worth of training with Goku. And I have no doubt he would have gotten Super Saiyan 4. Goku's still the stronger of the two by a decent margin, but yeah, he has that as well. He probably would have had him a kid at some point. Now, some people would probably say, have him get married to launch. No, I mean, that's fancy. Really, he probably just finds a very nice woman who, got really fiery and likes her, and they have a kid. Maybe 2. Which does change one thing that I could throw in this episode. When Boo comes, he's around, and honestly, him being around just makes the whole Boo thing a lot easier because he's if Goku's a 10, actually, it's the kind of the Beerus versus Super Saiyan God thing. If Beerus is a 10, Goku was a 7, they said. Same thing here. That's the disparity between their powers. And they quickly make work of Boo as well. And then when you get to, obviously, Beerus waking up and everything along those lines, Goku and Raditz both take a crack at him, both lose, although he is impressed by Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Especially the fact he could add a Kaioken on there. But ultimately, there you go. And they explain how to create a Super Saiyan God. So that's where we left off. Now, the fact that I gave Raditz's kid a wife with at least a kid does change things up quite a bit, actually. Because we have Trunks, who is Trunks, not Gohan. But they're Goku's 2 kids, Bra and Trunks. You have Goku, but also you have Raditz. You have Raditz's firstborn. And you know what? Let's say they have a second on the way. Because honestly, I mean, Goku had Goten and Gohan, and Vegeta had Trunks and Bra. I'm guessing there's no reason why they couldn't have 2 kids. I'm sure, the Saiyans like to get freaky with their wives, because, hey, you're married to a beautiful woman. You would like to have some of that. These videos are not for children. If you are children, then piss off from V-Infuser. I always do like V-Infuser's intros. I like V-Infuser. V-Infuser's cool. I don't always agree with his opinion, sure, but, you're not supposed to always agree with someone's opinion. You're supposed to enjoy the content. So ultimately, they are able to summon the Super Saiyan God, which in this case would still be Goku, and they agree to that. They have the fight, which it's still probably the same level of power of the Super Saiyan God. But still, it's a decent fight, and it all's well that ends well. And actually, I think ends on a much more reasonable note because Beerus was never in trying to destroy the world at this point. He got a lot of great food. They were actually a lot more hospitable to him, a lot more generous, a lot more polite, and he was respectful towards them as well. So I actually think Beerus threatening the planet really isn't a big thing. It's more just getting the thrill of the fight. So that now cuts us over to the Resurrection F arc, when that happens. And I don't think that arc happens, because we have Vegeta and Nappa basically running their own, running Frieza's empire. While some of the remnants of Frieza's army could, in theory, go and, find the Dragon Balls to try to resurrect Frieza, at this point, it'd be moot, because, the Saiyans, Vegeta and Nappa are going to figure that out at some point, because I'm sure they can sense energy at this point, after several encounters with the Earthlings and all that. But I do think Goku and Raditz go and learn how, to train for Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue. But they spend a lot longer training there because obviously they don't have to just pop back to Earth. And furthermore, because they're training longer, they're also learning to combine it with Super Saiyan 4, in this case, Super Saiyan Primal. Which technically is Super Saiyan 3 at this point, but regardless, I call it Super Saiyan Primal. Now that one they both struggle to do, but they can do Super Saiyan God in Blue. Goku is obviously also training with Kaioken. Because of the longer training time they have with there, they are able to do it. They are able to get their training done more effectively. Goku can actually get Kaioken times 10 on Super Saiyan Blue without much difficulty. Which now begs the question of, how does the Universe 6 tournament go? Well, you get Raditz and Goku there. That's a given, I think. But you don't have Boo there. Boo doesn't agree to fight. Boo wasn't going to agree to fight anyway. You don't have Piccolo there. You don't even have, because it was Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo. Oh crap, who was the fourth one? Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo, uh, Monaka. I am blanking on who the fourth one was. Goku went first. Piccolo went second. Vegeta. Piccolo, Goku, Vegeta. I am blanking on who the fourth fighter was, because they had Botamo, they had Magerta, they had Frost, they had Kaba, and they had Hit. Goku, Piccolo, Vegeta. Who the F was the second fighter? Or the fifth fighter? This is actually bothering the shit out of me. I normally can remember this. Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo. Wasn't Gohan didn't do it. None of the androids did it. Oh, that's sorry. Boo was the fighter. That's right. Boo was the fighter. He didn't pass the exam. That's right. And I know I'm gonna get people trying to say it was Boo, and then they cut this. Okay, he figured it out. It was Boo. He was the fighter chosen. He just couldn't pass the entry exam, which was stupid. Because even Goku barely passed, and I believe it was Vegeta who suggested it. And he realized, okay, that was a bad idea. So okay, yeah, that was it. So yeah. But yeah, you don't have Boo either. So you have Goku and Raditz. There's no Piccolo, but they convinced Roshi to go, and Roshi is continuing training up. And Roshi, at this point, he's now, I mean, don't get me wrong, he's still in his youth, but now he's, say, middle-aged at this point. So he's got some gray in him, but he's, again, aging slowly and all that. Like, Roshi will be able to live at least double his lifespan that we had, because we know he's over 300 years old. So he's going to be able to live to at least 600, maybe 700 years old. So Roshi, I think, agrees to go. But then who's the last person that they agree to go, that they get to go along? I mean, you could have Trunks. You could have any of the kids, really. But I think here is where they're able to persuade maybe 17 or 18. Maybe. Honestly, 18, probably not. She wouldn't have any need for it. Maybe they ask Krillin, though, or Tien. I think that's actually a reasonable suggestion. I think 17, they leave B, now I say it out loud. So, they agree, and Krillin's like, look, I'm the weakest one on the team, so I'm going to be the weak link on the team here, so I'm going to have the first crack. And, he's trying to take out Botamo, all that, and he's struggling. I think he is clever enough, though. Solar Flare! It's like, whoopsie! It's like, boom! Obviously, Frost beats his ass, because despite the fact that Frost is much weaker than Frieza, surprisingly, he is still powerful enough to take on like base form Goku. His Super Saiyan Goku completely wrecked his shit, and he was stronger than Piccolo. Actually, they did clarify that he was stronger than Piccolo, who was still very strong at that point, like well beyond his like Cell Games levels. So Goku wants. I wanted the first hit. It's like no. It's strategy, Kakarot. You need to calm down about it. After all, that's right, boy. I'll go next. We need to put you in reserve, honestly. He goes against Frost. Roshi goes against Frost, and Roshi, I think, is able to because of his experience and techniques, actually handle Frost, including you. A sleepy boy. It's like, what is this technique? Thunder shock surprise. It's like, and then Roshi just boom, and just cracks, and it's like, well, that's that. Who's next? It's like, damn it all. And so him and I believe it was Magerta came next. Yes, Kaba came after Magerta, if I'm not mistaken. This is a struggle fight for Roshi, definitely. Like, he goes all out. Magerta's like, oh, you bugging. But finally, though, he realizes what it was that would take Magerta out, is that he's very, self-conscious. Like, Kamehameha! And, struggling against the magma. It's like, you're not going to win, you bucket of bolts! And it's like, what? What happened? His species are very sensitive. And so him, Roshi, and Kaba duke it out. Kaba, though, would beat Roshi. Kaba was equal to Vegeta. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, Super Saiyan Kaba was actually equal to Super Saiyan. This is Vegeta who's enhanced by God Ki at that point. Vegeta's the much more experienced fighter, don't get me wrong, but I do believe Vegeta says they were actually pretty evened out, which says that, surprisingly, Universe 6 Saiyans are naturally stronger, probably, than Universe 7 Saiyans, which is very interesting. But, Roshi eventually does give up. And say, all right, I'll go. I've got it, Kakarot. We need to hold you up. Oh, come on, you guys are having all the fun. And Raditz goes, they train. He is kind of going to be more the mentor figure, the Kaba in this scenario, where he talks about Super Saiyan and all that. And, he's not going to be as cruel as Vegeta was, but he does, teach him how to unlock it. And ultimately they clash. He shows off Super Saiyan 2, just boom, and Super Saiyan God. And finally, you have Hit. Now, Hit and versus Raditz, that's an interesting fight, where it is going a lot, very much the same. Raditz basically goes through all of his forms, including Super Saiyan Primal, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue, but Hit just, boom, is able to outmatch him. Goku then goes, and that fight goes pretty much the same, except for the fact that Goku is able to actually maintain Super Saiyan Kaioken times 10 a lot more effectively right now, which means he actually is able to beat Hit in this, which means they get the win, everything's golden, woohoo. Zeno comes down, he's like, that was cool. It's like, nice to meet you. Oh, why is he talking to Zeno that way? And he's like, you're fun. I like fun things. And then we cut to the Goku Black card. Now, obviously, Trunks comes back from the future, because obviously timeline shenanigans. It's like, Goku! It's like, It's like, what? Whoa, hold on. Wait, it can't be. He explains Goku Black and what that's all about. And so Goku Black comes, Goku and him duke it out. This being said, though, remember, being raised by Roshi means Goku, while still wanting a good fight, is not as easy going when it comes to letting opponents go. Like he does, he takes his crack at Goku Black initially, sure, but he is about to end. But he does realize, okay, I've got to end this guy, otherwise things could be a problem. And he's about to go to Super Saiyan Primal until Goku Black gets sucked back into the timeline or hit the future. Oh god, I got the hiccups. Okay. So eventually Goku, Raditz, and Trunks go... Jesus. Where the hell did this come from? I think I sucked in too much air when I was talking, because that happens sometimes. I'll talk a bit too quick, and sometimes I'll get a burp. I think now I got the hiccups because of that. So if I start hiccuping throughout the rest of this, I apologize. Though it doesn't seem like it's a very severe case of it, I'm not going to... I'm not doing that. But anyway, so Trunks, Raditz, and Goku go to the future. And obviously Goku's black there. He shows off Super Saiyan Rose. Raditz goes in the blue, loses it. And I think he loses a bit hard, because Vegeta is a lot closer to Goku than I think Raditz is in this version. And he goes down. Now Goku and him go toe-to-toe, and it is a lot more even. I think it is roughly the same circumstances here. In the first one, they have to hightail it out of there. Now, obviously, Raditz goes to train the Hypog Time Chamber. Goku is learning the Mafa, but I think he also is practicing a bit more with, his Primal God form a bit. He takes some time in the chamber as well. And now, here's the thing. Because Roshi is the guardian of the Earth now, they're actually at the same place, so Roshi actually make sure to make some seal tags for him as well. And, they go back, and this time... Trunks also, learns it as well, because Piccolo isn't there. He goes with Roshi to learn it as well. And this time when they seal Zamasu, they actually seal him. So, they ultimately, Zamasu is sealed. His immortal body means dick. So it goes like, I see. So it's just me then, is it? Very, very well then. So he's going toe-to-toe with these guys, but now Rad's just in a rage, Super Saiyan Blue beating the crap out of him. Goku ultimately Kaioken. Basically, they tag team, and even though Goku Black is disgustingly powerful, I think because without Zamasu there, they can't fuse, and he doesn't have backup of an immortal body. Goku Black loses. Like, it's a struggle, and they have to kind of go all out, and Goku maybe even tries out Super Saiyan Primal God form once, Super Saiyan God Primal, but they ultimately are able to beat Goku Black. And, then the day is saved. So that finally leads us into the Tournament of Power. Now, this is actually kind of interesting. Now, Bulma is not pregnant with their third child in this case. I'm sure, they still have, a good sex life and all that stuff. Good for them. But no, she's not pregnant with a third child or anything like that. So Goku goes. He takes Raditz along as well. And he takes Boo. It was Boo, Gohan, and... no, he doesn't take Boo. What am I talking about? There's no Boo there. Takes Boo and... takes Boo and Raditz. And... yeah, there's not really anyone else available at the point who wants to go anyway. Roshi says, I would go, but I remember I'm the guardian Goku. I need to stay here if any need be. It's all good, and so you only have 2 fighters? Oh, that's pathetic. Guess we're going to have to fight next to fight. And he's like, I want the big guys. Like, fine, I'll take the first 2. And Raditz makes quick work of Basil and Lavender, although Lavender is a struggle. Goku versus Bergamo goes about the same. Goku versus Topo goes about the same. There's really not much actually. Goku probably is actually owning Topo a bit more in the fight, to be honest. It's just because he is a bit stronger at this point. So they go, they prepare, and they're like, okay, tournament of power. We need our team. We have Goku and Raditz. We get the twins, 17, 18. All the shenanigans aside. Krillin's on the team. Tien's on the team. Roshi's on the team. That still leaves 3 spots. That's not good. Now, again, I just want to get my count right here. Goku, Raditz, Roshi, the twins, Krillin, Tien. But they are aware that Vegeta and Nappa are still in the universe, particularly Vegeta. Nappa at this point, I think, has finally aged to the point where he's not as strong as he used to be. And they're looking out in the universe, and they're like, well, there is this. We could get this Vegeta. And they eventually go, enlist Vegeta, basically tell him what's going to happen. It's like, yeah, you're not going to have anything if, the universe is wiped out of existence. So buck up, and let's get this shit done. It's like, Damashal! But then they also go, and they're looking around, seeing if they can find anyone else. And they do agree to resurrect, I think, Cell in this case, because in this version, Cell is stronger than Frieza. And it would be semi-perfect Cell, because he died semi-perfect. And so that's how his soul probably is. They probably agree to, bring back Cell, but quickly they're like, oh, they removed his cell. Why? Why did you do that? It's like, because we can't trust you. Trust you not to absorb that. Oh, fair point. And they find Broly. Now, luckily, they still have time with Broly to, kind of integrate them to Earth, pair him and Paragus, integrate him to Earth, kind of, tell him what's going on. Kind of, train him up a little bit, use some time in the Hyperlog Time Chamber. Not a lot, but a little. And so, ultimately, yeah. Now, you might be asking, well, what about Trunks? I mean, he can go Super Saiyan at this point. Sure, but he's just a kid. There's no rationale. He's not an experienced fighter at this point at all. So they go into the tournament. Now, a lot of it goes the same. Universe 9 goes out first. Cell is busy kind of just taking out individuals. I think Krillin is the first one to go, sadly. Frost just is a dick. Roshi, though, is much stronger in this version than he is in the other one. So I actually think Roshi makes it out a lot longer and is actually able to seal Frost properly this time. And actually throw him out of the ring. So there's actually a big difference here that Frost is out. And Roshi is still good to go for a while. Also, the sniper, Tien, I think, takes out the sniper on his own. I think that's a given. But I don't think anything about that changes. Really, there's not a huge amount that changes. I think Roshi actually makes it all the way, because Roshi's just league stronger in this version by a long margin. He makes it all the way to the fight with Goku versus Jiren. Jiren knocks out, and I do think also Kale and Broly duke it out. I think that's the case where she goes and she's beat, and he's actually, because Broly was able to go toe to toe with base form and Super Saiyan Vegeta. It wasn't until he hit God form that base form Broly wasn't able to do anything. And then his wrathful state allowed him to go toe-to-toe with God Vegeta and God Goku. So, him and Kale initially can't do anything. But then Kale goes into her berserk form, and she's manhandling Broly, who then goes into his wrathful state. But it's still getting manhandled. But it's like they're going toe to toe here, just and they're just duking it out, and it's a clash. Like even everyone's seeing it. Jiren actually is like, I've got this, like because he realized like I have to take these guys out. These guys are crazy strong, and Goku goes like, Broly, look out! It's like, and the blast hits them both, but both Kale and Broly survive the blast. They're both kind of knocked. It's like Broly gets up and says, and basically, he's kind of on the verge of snapping, and Paragus even looking at the cuz like, this isn't good. Broly can't control his rage. If he goes, he might break the rules and kill someone and be disqualified. And finally, he kind of snaps and does go into Super Saiyan. Because I'm sure there's some taunting and all that from like Caulifla and all that. And he's like, and at this point, Super Saiyan Broly could manhandle Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta and Goku at the same time. They had to turn tail and run against Broly in that form. I have very little doubt that Jiren actually would struggle against Super Saiyan Broly. Not even Legendary Super Saiyan Broly, Super Saiyan Broly. And they actually clash legitimately. Jiren, I think, is still stronger at that point than Broly, though. And because of that, he actually has to throw out a lot of energy to be like, boom, and they clash. And eventually he does knock Broly out, and Broly's just kind of like, boom. Half the ring is destroyed. A bunch of combatants got knocked out along the way. Goku's still there, and Goku and Jiren finally just clash. Jiren has unleashed a decent amount of his power, and Goku and him are now clashing. And Goku's on the back foot seriously hard, though Jiren is definitely weakened because of his fight with Broly. Goku then goes Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20. He's able to even the gap a little bit, but it's not enough. Eventually, he's like, fine, goes Super Saiyan God Primal, and they clash again. Now they're on an even footing again, and again, it's just a fight that's wreaking havoc, and everyone's kind of just sitting and watching. Eventually, Goku throws a Kaioken on top, a couple Kaioken levels on top of that. It's straining his body. But at that point, even Jiren is overwhelmed, and he actually succeeds in knocking Jiren out of the ring. And everyone, including Belmont, is just like, Jiren! He knocked out Jiren. Now Goku is completely tired, completely just done. And Roshi and Raditz get over there, and everyone's just trying to take out Goku real quick. Everyone now just guards Goku. It's not gonna be. It's now just a crazy free for all. Toppo's goes into his God of Destruction mode because he's like, you knocked out Jiren. There's no way I'll be able to defeat you otherwise, son Goku. And so Goku is about to be defeated, but Raditz comes in, uses his Super Saiyan Primal, and they're clashing once again. Roshi comes, he gets him some of his energy. He's now getting tired out. It's like, my body may be younger, but I'm getting too old for this. It's like, unfortunately, I won't be able to last much longer. Take my energy, Goku, and then he charges Goku up quite a bit, and she's like, Dad, are you sure about it? He's like, I'm good, son. Now go, kicking their asses. And he's like, right. And him and Caulifla and Kale, Caulifla and Kale, duke it out again. Except he's got a lot more energy this time, and is able to go toe to toe. They create Kefla. Goku. This is the first time I think Goku actually creates Ultra Instinct. I think the fight with Jiren does push him, but it's not enough to it pushed him near the edge, but not quite. Here he gets near knocked out, and this time he activates Ultra Instinct. It's basically Kefla. The fact that Goku's in a weakened state now, he's now pushed to his limit and past it, does activate the Ultra Instinct to Omen. And they are able to go. It's the same thing that happened prior. Where Goku and him, or he uses the Kamehameha, slides it, and knocks him off, and then he's again just completely beat. But Goku is, once again is given energy this time by the twins because they're helping out. And they see him and okay, we gotta go help him out. All the humans at this point, Tien, Krillin, and Roshi are knocked out. We still have Vegeta, we still have Goku, we still have the twins. Oh crap, who did I include? Oh yeah, Broly's been knocked out as well. This is a weird way to count. So yeah, we have Goku, Raditz, the twins, Vegeta, and who did I include else on there? Oh, Cell. I think Cell has just been kind of playing, playing the odds a little bit, and just like, I will win. Unfortunately, I think Cell eventually gets knocked out too. Just by probably from like Universe 3 or something like that, because and they're the more technical, or Universe 4 because they're the trickier ones. Goku gets up again. This time you get the invisible fighter and the tiny fighter. Ultimately, it does end with Universe 7 winning like before and resurrecting the universes is where we're basically ending this. Broly is the Broly movie doesn't happen, and I don't go into the manga because the manga is very different than the anime, so it doesn't really work to be going into the manga. Anyway, I digress. So that is where Roshi adopting Goku ends. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll be starting a new long-term what if on Saturday. Keep your eyes out for what that will be. Thanks for watching, though. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you folks later. Have a good one.